It's a little confusing.
Yeah. Just like the 100.
Exactly. I was going to say, but you know what is also confusing? I was actually going to say what isn't confusing, because I thought this episode was pretty straightforward. But, you know, the show itself, it can be pretty confusing.
It is and it is. I'm still confused.
Season.
I'm still confused on a couple of things.
Yeah? Okay, well, we'll get there. Welcome to Season 7, Episode 12, The Stranger, the 100.
Stranger Danger.
Tyson, Teddy, talk the 100, dude. We're here. I'm in a new apartment. Tyson's over there with a fancy new camera. Everything's better, you know. We fixed 2020.
Everything's coming up. No, everything's coming up. Millhouse is not a good thing. I don't think.
I think it means it's a good thing. Right?
Is it? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because like it's coming up for him. Yeah. So, everything's coming up. Millhouse.
Yep. Yeah, dude. I'm happy to be here. I watched the episode this morning. I liked it. It's a good episode, especially which is such a 100 thing to say. The ending, man. The ending absolutely is like, oh shit, it's finally happening.
Worlds collide, like stories finally getting tied together. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. Okay, so the episode starts off with Shadeheda in the palace. He's talking to Amori and Murphy, and they kneel. He's like, you know, getting everybody to come in and kneel or die. And they kneel, and they're like, okay. And then one of the other grounders comes up and like tosses their clothes on the ground, and is like, here, get the fuck out of this place. This palace is ours now. You're not welcome here. And they were like, they bargained basically to get like the engine like workshop,
the reactor room or whatever.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, whatever. I don't care. It's fine. And then, which I didn't realize why they needed it, but we will see later. It's pretty smart. But yeah, Amori and Murphy kneel. The convicts, Nikki, and all them, they all kneel. Which, by the way, like, I was thinking this, man. I know they got a lot more issues to worry about in this time, but like them just going by, we are the convicts. You know what I mean? They're not in prison anymore. Like, it's so far away from that.
She said like
world.
Thieves and thieves or something of, and then she names the ship.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't you just say like, let us just call them the crew of that?
It just seems kind of demeaning. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know if I was them,
maybe they own it.
I probably wouldn't. Yeah, maybe they're just owning it. But I feel like I would want something else. It's like, hey man, I was fucking convicted of that literally 100 years more in the past.
I served
and then I was
my time.
cryo-freezed, and now I'm on another planet. Like, yeah, it's a whole different thing. I would feel like, okay, can we be something else? You know, I'm not defined by my one mistake I made.
Can we rebrand?
Yeah,
we need a rebranding.
Yeah, but they kneel. The children of Gabriel decide not to kneel, which really works for their whole ideology. Like, I get it. The whole, like, I mean, he goes through a whole thing where he was like, we decided a long time ago that we're not going to kneel to false gods. You know? And I was like, yeah, I respect it. And then none of them do kneel.
But like, at the same time, I'm like, you know, just do it so that you can get your revenge later, or you can like live. Like you don't. It's not like you're actually believing in it. You just don't want to die.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, he then immediately Shadeheda just fucking takes an AR-15 and just guns down every single one of them. Just pop.
Good aim, too.
And then he leaves Nelson and then like gives him one more chance and then just fucking shoots Nelson in the.
I would have loved it. It would have been even darker.
A lot of respect.
Yeah,
and I like
that. It would have been even darker if he left Nelson alive and it was like because like he was like their leader sort of when Gabriel wasn't there, but if he left Nelson alive and he's like, now you have to live with like all of so you're not gonna die, but all of the other children of Gabriel are dead because of you. And then just like leave it at that.
Yeah, I really thought that he was doing that as in like, I'm gonna kill all of your fucking followers, kind of in a way, and then while they're all dead, I'm gonna give you another chance. And I really thought he might kneel then, because it's an intimidation tactic. It's like, well, fuck. This man is serious. They are all dead. Like, but no.
I only put one bullet into some of them.
Right in the head.
And so, into some of the other ones though, and I'm like, they probably could have survived. There's probably like a couple of survivors.
Well, we do see later.
We see, but like, I mean, there could have been a couple more.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I will say, with the dude that we see later who does survive, maybe he doesn't have the best aim, because he didn't even hit him at all. No. It wasn't like he just like played dead, which I think super smart. You know?
There was like a body on top of him.
Yeah, I think somebody fell back onto him.
Yeah. Also, I started noticing Shade Hater's eye patch is just way too big.
It's pretty big.
It's like it is huge. It's like a hand. It's like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just need just. And then I don't know. It just it weirds me out because I'm like, it's too large for your face.
Yeah.
It looks very cartoony.
I like at one point Amori calling him Cyclops. I was like, it was good. I like that. But yeah, then Nelson dies, and then
and we're all sad, I guess.
Yeah. They built him up just to fucking die, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes to, and then I really liked the little Planet Bardo graphic to show, and I was like, cool.
They're learning with like a handful of episodes left.
Yeah. Let's see. So Bellamy makes a deal to get the flame and repair it, and if he can do that, then all of his friends will be safe. That was the deal. Yeah. Which, fucking Bellamy, man. This
episode's worse than the last one, like from Bellamy's perspective.
Yeah, you're going into more detail with all.
You're going into more detail, and like he's more, like I guess only at the end of last episode he was starting to like believe and be a little weird, but this whole episode he's just weird from start to beginning, and there are times when I'm like. Start to
finish.
There are times in this episode where I'm like, wait, is he still on there? And I'm like, no. Like when he goes to talk to Echo and Raven, he says like, oh yeah, there's a plan or something to save them. Or no, he's like something about like they're listening. They're always listening.
Yeah.
And that flashback to like when Echo said that, and I'm like, oh, maybe he's, and then
me too.
You're just like, no, it's not.
I think they did a really good job. This is a note I have later, but I think they did a really good job this episode of showing Bellamy with like multiple. He has a lot of
conflicted.
Yeah, it's not just him being completely a brainwashed like drone. It is still him, but he now believes in this thing. It's a lot more layered than I thought they were gonna go with it for sure. But I liked it. But yeah, he goes to Echo and Raven, and he asks Raven where the flame is, and then when Raven won't tell him, he takes Raven to the MCAP, which is the memory like searching probe thing. The talk that he has with Echo is fucking heartbreaking because like it's honestly in a way worse than if he was dead to come back and be like a completely different like unrecognizable person. Like that's kind of fucked up.
Like Echo in that whole conversation is like the voice of reason, which is like very ironic coming from Echo's perspective, where she's kind of the one that's always towed that line of like being a little questionable in her actions, and now it's the total opposite, and she has to try to reel Bellamy in, but it's just not working. And yeah.
I wrote down, I mean, at least Bellamy is actually trying to save them. Which I liked.
But
that's what I liked about this episode and about the portrayal of Bellamy is that he is still trying to save them. He does still want them to be safe. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's fascinating.
I wrote like it's weird that like we had the last episode, but Bellamy still doesn't really know what it all like all of the stuff he saw, learned means. He doesn't really know what it means. So yet he's still so eager to follow it 100% and throw his whole past away is still kind of like hard for me to accept. It's like you can still start to believe this, but then you're still more tied to your past because your
You're
past
still
is,
allowed to have questions.
yeah. But like this, he saw some light, and then he saw his mom, and a storm went away, and now he's like, this is it.
All of it.
This is it.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm like, but what?
That's a note I have later where it's like, what does he say? He starts going on about the last war, and I was like, why do you believe in the last war? Like, literally, I get that, like, if you believe in this thing, that then, which then brought up like, oh god, if you believe in this thing, then you immediately believe in literally everything that is written in this text and that this person has ever said. That's such a like illogical way of thinking, because it's not like, just because one thing is true doesn't make this entire thing true. You still have to question aspects of it too. Like, I don't know. I was like, Bellamy. But yeah. Then it cuts over to Knight and Shade-Heda. I thought it was funny. Shade-Heda's like learning about the anomaly.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a weird kind of connection that we're having right now. I did not expect it to converge at the end, but
didn't he say that that he saw it in his, he saw it somewhere. Because like when he was looking through Maddie's book, he said something.
He said that before, but I don't remember him saying that here, but he's definitely mentioned the anomaly before, which I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying attention enough.
I wonder if
he did say that.
I wonder if that's obviously is the Earth one then.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
They have a lot to connect in these last 4 episodes, because do you remember when he was talking to Jordan and he was like, you saw it too, and Jordan had the whole thing where he saw it when he drank the thing and quote unquote transcended. So is that going to be connected with the transcending?
They've thrown out that,
Bellamy,
like you said,
or
they throw out that Jordan arc, because like even in this episode, Jordan is just like a totally different person than who he was at like the beginning of the season.
I don't know. I will say I think they did a somewhat definitely could have done a lot more with it, but somewhat decent job of connecting, of branching Jordan back to where he was kind of at the beginning of last season, because like he even admitted, and I guess the only real way that they did like continue this transition was through the talk that he had with Shade-Heda, because he had a talk with Shade-Heda where he was like, what was it? Shade-Heda said something like, you've seen that this is all bullshit. Like, you've seen the mind drives and this, like, you know it's not real. And he's like, so are you still a believer? He's like, no, I'm not. But, like, I can't deny that I saw some shit. And they kind of started talking about, like, seeing the anomaly that, like, both of them had. Yeah. And so it makes sense that he has come back to being a somewhat normal person. But it is, I do want them to reference that again, because that's such a weird, like, I honestly feel like that is somehow going to connect with the transcendence arc thing that happened with Bellamy, because both of them, like, I don't know, that's my theory, because both of them are about seeing something, and both of them, I mean, it's all going to connect to the ancient Bardoans. That's what it is. It's all going to connect to them. It's got to.
It's just so, yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot
to fit in 4 episodes.
Yeah. So, on a lighter note, am I the only one that thinks Nikki's costume design is weird as fuck?
I guess I haven't really paid too much attention to it.
It's just so weird. It's like she has a giant baggy pants, right? And like a white tank top, and then just so many straps. It's not like it's like just overalls. It's just like a billion straps all over her legs and all over like. So
she should have been cast in a Final Fantasy video game.
Yeah.
Because she has all the belts on.
Even then, it's like it's more belts than what would be like. It's a lot. I don't know. There was just one shot where I was like, so weird. And I've thought it was weird the whole time, but there was one moment where I was just like, there's so many. Like, at first when I saw Nikki, it's very like, oh, it's like overalls, kind of like, oh, it's fine. It's whatever. But like the more I see it, the more weird it gets.
Now I'm gonna have to pay attention, because like I don't really.
There's just a lot of straps.
Really, like I sort of pay attention when she, like, I just don't really I guess I don't like
very
her
mindful.
as a character.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of like, okay, say your lines, and then
Say your lines. Get the fuck
I'm just
out
like,
of here.
let's get back to who I care about.
Get
Even
back
though
to Clark.
most of her stuff was with like John and Namori this episode. But yeah, I'll have to take a look next time.
You should. It goes back. Now it cuts over to Murphy in the like bottom, or no, not in the bottom of the reactor room, but like in the workshop room. And he's handing out bandages and shit to the dudes that are all hiding below, the followers of the Primes. I thought one of them is starting to doubt. One of them's like, maybe we should kneel. And then the other dude at the end is like, I was right to trust you.
Because that was the guy, that was the father, right? Of the son that Murphy saved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I can understand why that guy has like complete faith in Murphy.
I do get it, but it was a very weird moment where I was like, I don't think you were right before because you thought he was a Prime and you were trusting him because of that. Now you're hopefully trusting him just
their allegiances are
proven
questionable.
Himself. Yeah, it's a little.
Whoever can save me, I will worship.
Yeah. The 100 season 7. That's the motto. I thought Amori up top, she was like, who said it? One of them said, "I'm proud of you," and then she was like, from the top, she was like, "I'm proud of you too." I thought it was so cute. I was like, "Oh
man!" This whole episode, I wrote that like the banter between Amori and John, like their relationship is probably the best in this show, especially this season. Great. But like, it is the best in this show for probably like so far.
Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, Andra she knocks on the door and she brings them the kid. That's one bit from the last scene that I forgot to mention. Andra looks over and sees a kid like his eyes still open, and she was like, "Play dead," and he's like, "Okay," and then she like wheels him out of there. She gets him the fuck out of there and brings him over to Murphy in this next scene.
Also, why did she shave her head? I will
say,
why did she shave her head?
Who, Indra?
Yeah. She never shaved head before.
Did she not?
No.
Don't mind me. Just gonna take a quick little look here.
She had like, it was a little bit longer. But this episode, it's like a full-on new buzz cut.
Huh.
It's like everybody just got a new haircut. Jade Hayden got a haircut.
Yeah, it's about that time in the season, you know? It's about that time in the story arc where you kind of need to. I'm looking at a picture or at like a screenshot right now. It's not fully shaved. It is, but it's like, you know, already starting to grow back. And now,
then like a couple episodes before, it was like...
Jesus. I want to see if I can find something.
It's just a little taller.
It's not gonna... Yeah, it's true.
But I would just like that kind of... that
It's about that time, you know? Big
or
changes
you know what
are
she
happening
had?
in the story.
She had like shaved sides and then a little bit more on the top. But then now it's just like fully shaved. Or like fully like buzz cut.
I guess they were like, hey, you know what? You're serving
like, let's take some
data now. Makes sense.
That's kind of what I put together.
For a higher cut, it's right now, you know?
Also, Shade Hayda's biggest thing is like, if you have a grudge against me, you might grow up or I'm gonna kill you. So why is he letting Indra live?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, it just does not make any sense.
Honestly, for like the followers of the Prime, right? I get why you're like, you know what, fuck it, just murder him, right? Indra still serves a lot of a purpose with like Tree Crew. Like Tree Crew still follows her. So I do get that.
But you kill her, they have nobody else to follow except you.
Yeah, but like that also then makes them want to revolt against you because you know.
But if you,
I guess they probably wouldn't because it wouldn't be smart, but they would want to, and then you're just on a slippery slope of just killing everybody, you know?
Because Indra's like would be his biggest threat in my mind.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true. The one note that I have about this kid that Indra brings them is like, he's supposed to be acting as a kid who's like Maddie's age, right? Maddie's supposed to be like 15 or whatever. And I guess it makes sense, right? Kids grow very quickly. But Amori carries him away, and he's so much taller than Amori. I'm like,
but I wonder how
we're supposed to believe this.
Do we have his
kid?
name? No.
I don't know, but he is the kid that like showed up in a previous episode talking to Maddie before they go to like play soccer. You remember that scene?
Yeah,
it's the same kid. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we have a name for him, but he's very like. I wonder if that actor is not like 25 years old. Because I was like, my God.
Maybe he's just really tall. Maybe Amori's really short, or maybe the actor's really short.
Yeah, Amori might be really short. Kids grow pretty like like I remember kids when I was like 15 being so tall. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. But yeah. Indra, as she's walking out, also goes, I'm proud of you, Murphy. And he was like, yeah, get in line. I was like, what a great
so cheesy, moment. But I'm like, man, they really like brought the comedy for this one episode. Yeah. It's just like, that's such a... that line especially was just for comedy because Indra didn't really have a reason to be proud of him.
No, I would say so. She very much clearly notices that he's doing shit for other people and not himself. Like, she
but I mean, like, she doesn't say that. She just
that
like
they're not taking care of.
Like, I think that Amori, I don't know when she says it, but she says it in this episode where it's like you're not thinking.
She said it.
Like, you're not thinking for yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, but like Indra didn't say anything before that. That's why it was kind of just like a very weird, like, you know what? I'm proud of you, Murphy. And I'm like, wait, why? Like, you didn't preface it with anything else. And it's like, you can tell that it was just for comedic effect a little bit.
I guess. I don't know. I thought it was a good moment because Indra and John's story throughout the season have kind of been like a lot together throughout a lot of this season. So I thought it was a moment of her genuinely being like, I see you. Like, I just brought you this kid that you're taking care of. Like, you're taking care of all the people down in the bunker. Like, I know you're doing your best and not just for you, for like other people. And you know what?
He's definitely the hero of the whole season.
Yeah, it's crazy. Who would have guessed, you know? Who would have fucking guessed? Until the last episode comes out and he just chooses to save himself and everything.
He just is like, you know what, Shade hated us? Like, I'll be your number 2.
Let's see. And then Nikki then comes in looking for Maddie. Murphy opens the door, but he knows like she's up to some shit.
Yeah.
She forces him to open the door with a gun right in the back of his head. And then this was a moment where I was like, is he giving up and doing what's best for his survival instincts right now? Is that what he's doing? And then later it's like, no, he just knew that. He knew that Amori saw it and was going to...
But yeah, like, because we see that Amori saw it.
Yeah.
And
she saw her on the camera.
Yeah.
And then he goes and opens the door. And then she comes in and sees Maddie. And she's like, jackpot. And then fucking Amori hits her in the back of the head with a fucking crowbar. I was like, yes.
That could kill somebody. Like, you hit
God,
somebody hard enough or in the right spot, you could just kill somebody.
Knock them out. Yeah. Let's see. Now we get a nice little scene with Hope and Jordan, which I really liked.
I was surprised.
Between the two of them, I really liked Jordan's actor. Like, he did great. Mm-hmm. Not to say Hope's actor didn't do good, but Jordan did great in this scene. I was like, man, this is good. This is really good. But yeah, they have a nice little moment because it's like, but he basically said both of us grew up with stories of these people that we've heard, which is like such a weird, cool connection between these two. Of like, both of us grew up hearing stories of these people that are now in our lives. They're not necessarily our friends, but like they're here now.
It's like they're the outsiders of like this huge group, and they don't really. And so like that's what they have in common.
Yeah, for sure. I thought this was a nice little scene. Hope eventually like breaks down and starts losing it.
Because this is really like right after like Diosa's dead.
She killed her mom, and she goes through the whole thing there. And Jordan has to be like, no, she did it to save you, and not your life, but your soul.
It's like so
a little cheesy, but
so a little melodramatic. But I was like, okay, I get circumstances, it does make sense to be that dramatic.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Octavia and Clark are like catching up at the beginning of this next scene, which I thought was
Also,
really
I think
cute.
isn't it weird? Like I don't know if I'm the Bardo, not the Bardoans, the people on Bardo that have these prisoners that killed first disciple Anders.
Why are you like putting them together?
Why are you putting them together?
That's a good point. That's
But again,
point. You have a giant
it's a TV
compound.
show.
Yeah.
It's a TV show.
Hey man, we run a podcast about this TV show. We're allowed to nitpick. That's the whole thing. That's content, right?
And it's like,
there.
why would you put those? Why would you put like Clark and Octavia together? You know, you've read Octavia's mind. You know that they've been together forever. Why would you put those two together?
That's a really good point.
Put Clark with
Yeah.
Hope, and then Jordan with Octavia, and they're like, I don't know what to talk about.
That's a very good point. Let's see. But yeah, I liked how they were like catching up. And Clark very casually is like, oh, how long were you on penance? And she's like, oh, we call it Skyrang, like 10 years.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, Clark is dealing with this in a lot more of a calm way than like I would have. I would have been like, fuck, dude, 10 years? Like,
10 years?
So it's been 10 years. It was literally last week for me. You know that, right? Like,
Yeah.
I would have tried to like put that in perspective because that's weird for Clark
Also, they
to
never
have to
really
like deal with.
When she said 10 years, I was like, there must be some sort of no, but we've seen Hope age. So I'm like,
It's been 10 years. They showed it.
no, I know, but like
Yeah.
with Hope, you see her grow, so you can see that that's there's a 10-year difference.
Yeah.
With Octavia,
there definitely is, at least with like costume design, but you don't see any like aging or anything.
No.
Like that.
I was like, that's a little disappointing.
That's true. But how old was
Maybe like
Octavia supposed to be when she was when she's like what? She's like 20, 22 or something when she goes in the 10-year gap. So
Yeah.
there's not like a giant amount of aging between 20 and 30.
No, but
You
like
know?
you know what they did with that was good with Echo is they just chopped off her hair or just like give her a
Yeah.
different haircut. And it's like
Yeah.
just do something a little bit different to like show that there's a
And
difference.
they did. I think it was just probably too subtle because
Yeah.
there definitely is a difference in design from the beginning of the season to the end, but
Yeah.
it's not super clear or anything.
Especially like 10 years. I'm just like, do
Yeah.
something. Maybe make
Yeah,
her
it's
blonde. Like it's like Black Widow. She went blonde and then
Make
she went
her
back to
blonde.
redhead, and you could tell that that's a 10-year or that's a 5-year difference because you could see.
That's fair. That's a good point.
yeah.
I don't think like hair dye is as easily accessible in this kind of world, but
That's true,
You never
but like you could make something up. They made up a lot of
With the-
stuff in
with
this
the
show
berries.
that doesn't
Didn't-
really.
didn't Clark like dye her hair with berries at one point? I'm pretty
thought it
sure
was- well,
she
yeah.
did, dude.
Because then that's when they started calling her Blood Reina. Not Blood Reina. What?
Juan Heda is what she
Heda.
was called, but
Yeah.
oh man, what was it? God damn it! Like she literally had.
Well, it's because
like,
she was being
blue
searched
or, like,
for
black
too,
hair
wasn't
or
it?
Something. Yeah. There was a time where she was like kind of on the run. She was kind of
Yeah,
trying to be
and
secretive,
so-
so she dyed her hair. But I was trying to find a picture of it, but I couldn't. But yeah, let's see.
But something.
So
It's-
Octavia and Clark are catching up, and then Bellamy comes in with some guards, and she's like, "What? You need fucking protection now, you little,
you little
wimp,
bitch.
you little bitch." And he's like, "No, I
Talk
got
to your
this, I got
sister
this."
and yeah.
And then he sends the guards out. I wrote, this is what we talked about earlier, but I wrote, I get why Bellamy had this experience and why he believes, but also like that does not confirm that a last war is coming. He
Yeah.
starts talking about the last war, and I was like, bro, you don't know that. Like, why? I don't know.
I wanted like especially Octavia because it's
Yeah.
her brother, but I wanted her to like walk because this is sort of because she didn't hug him in the last episode. That was Clark.
Yeah.
So I wanted her to, and this is now after he betrayed them. I wanted her to like walk up and like he would think that she was gonna hug him, and then she just like
Fucking
punch him in the
smack him in
face.
the face.
Just like punch
Yeah.
him in the face, and just like,
Yeah.
like how could you betray us? Like why are you doing this? What do you like? What is
That's
going
true.
on?
That seems like it would have been a very Octavia move as well.
Yeah, and it and it just
that's a good
shows how like wrong Bellamy is.
Yeah. I did really enjoy how he started going through a list of like, is it really any more crazy than this and this and this that we've been through? I was like, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. But with all the others, that was proven to you, and you could see it with your eyes instead of just blindly believing.
But that's the thing, is like there was always a grounded reason for this, an actual like logical, tangible thing where it's like it's not gods putting their minds into other people to live forever. It's them putting it into a piece of technology, and then that technology takes over the person's body.
I honestly think, though, that at this point in the 100, in season 7 of the 100, they've done too much of, and by too much, I literally mean the only scene, like one scene in the last episode of like weird, unexplainable shit that they are going to explain with tech. Like, I honestly feel like that's kind of how the 100 does it. The 100 shows some weird shit, and then they explain it with technology.
Because that's like Allie.
Weird sci-fi shit. Yeah, I mean, Allie, when she first showed up, right, wasn't she... isn't it like the season 2 finale or something like that? Clark, like, goes to this house, and Allie's, like, there, and she's, like, a person... But and it's shot in like this very weird like ghost kind of like the house is perfect and it, but they kind of like explain that you know it's not exactly, I don't know, but they portray it in this weird kind of magical way. I think that is honestly a little bit of what is happening here. I think they're gonna somehow explain transcendence, or the Bardoans left something on all of these planets. Like, I don't know. I think there's more to believing that they're gonna explain based on Bellamy being Bellamy, and like they did a good job of explaining why he would believe in the last episode, but like to this degree, why he would believe this much, it's just a lot that I feel like they will kind of give a little bit more justification.
I hope they don't do it with tech. I hope that this season, because they do that a lot.
No.
That this time,
stay true to the show, though.
But it's an easy cop out to be like, oh, that transcendence, those lights like, that you saw, well, that was just some LED.
I like that though, you know. But that's very, I don't know. I saw this one video. This is a rabbit hole. this is a sidebar if I've ever told one. So I saw this one video. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched about half of it, because it was like 45 minutes long. But it was literally called A Critical Analysis on Scooby-Doo, on like the Scooby-Doo franchise, right? And he goes through the whole thing of how I kind of get, I'm assuming, don't quote me if this is this might be wrong, but I'm assuming his whole point, because he was talking about the newest movie Scoob, which I saw later because it was cute, you know, it was a good time. But he was talking about that movie, and he was going through the whole like Scooby-Doo's whole franchise, and the whole story is like, here's some magical weird shit that's spooky, and like, who knows? And then at the end, here's how it's explained with logic. The dude's in a fucking mask. They pull off a mask every time.
99% of the time, right? It's a dude in a mask.
Yeah, and that's like that's like Scooby-Doo's whole thing. But the newest movie, which I didn't even finish the point, but I assume that his point is the newest movie doesn't do that and completely breaks the whole logic. The newest movie literally ends in like, no, it's just fucking magical, like spooky ancient Egyptian shit. And it's like, but that's not, that like breaks the whole logic of the show and of the entire like however long Scooby-Doo has been going. Like, it's kind of in
it just changes. It just changed.
Sure.
I don't know if it breaks it, but like, it's evolving.
But like
to always go back to the same resolution, to be like, oh, we have this weird thing that's gonna happen,
keeps
and then it's
you grounded in the world. Like if the resolution is like, no, the shepherd's a god, which we know he's not, because he's
not that.
You know what I mean? Like, if it does go back to some sort of
there's
weird,
gonna be
like,
some obviously
thing,
the anomalies are tech, because it's some sort of I think it has to do something to do with like the Bardoans and stuff like that. But I don't think it's just like, oh, the stuff that you saw in that cave is just, there's tech that explains it. I think that Bellamy was just
I think there will be, but I think
hungry.
it'll be ancient tech. And I think it is going to be an explanation of kind of like, you know, the tech opens your mind up to certain things. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like, it showed you exactly blah, blah, blah.
Tech
I think it's going to be a little more
your
vague.
mind.
Yeah.
And when he does,
it
but he
opens
doesn't
your
even,
mind up
he
to
doesn't even,
seeing
like,
what you need
do
to
anything
see in
with
the
it.
moment. You know, like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like it's going to be some sort of vague thing like that. But
I don't
like,
think it's gonna be,
it
I
at
don't think
least
it's gonna
gives
be
a
tech.
little bit more
I
justification.
don't want it to be tech because that's just too easy. It's too easy.
But what else would it be?
Well, we're dealing with aliens for one.
Sure.
So it's like
But either way, that's alien tech. You know what I mean? Like,
you've opened the can of aliens, so let's just jump through that craziness and then just like go for it. It's like if you're going to have this sort of this like prophecy, like really double down on it.
Might be wrong according to Jordan.
Well, like I mean, like there still is a prophecy. It just might be interpreted differently. It's like I still want to see that outcome. I don't want it to just be like, oh no, this is just some tech that Bardoan left. He left his backpack and we found all this stuff in it.
Found the backpack projected lights and I'm kind of with you, but I don't want them to use some like supernatural or religious explanation because that breaks the entire show. Like that, I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Literally like breaks the entire it's kind of like a midichlorians thing in Star Wars where like people had their vision and their view of what the world and what the Force was, and this is like, oh yeah, no, it's not that. Like that kind of seems like what this is in a way.
I guess,
you know, or what it would be.
I'm with midichlorians. I don't know. I just don't care enough.
It's fair.
That it doesn't affect. I can understand. I can understand is when he's like, oh yeah, there's midichlorians that are like.
Well, it's not understanding it. Like I get it too, but it breaks the so like. Oh God! You
already reversed because you said that you like tech,
I'm not saying I don't.
You don't like magic.
No, okay, so these are different circumstances. In Star Wars, I like that it is a religious
magic.
Like I like that it is religious magic basically in like the original trilogy of like anyone can be a Jedi. Like it is very like you have to believe in the Force. It's very like the Force is all around us. Like it's a very energy. I don't know. I like that kind of religious, mystical kind of aspect of it. And then this is what I'm saying. And then they break it in the prequels of kind of being like, but it's very explained by science and like tech stuff, which is cool and fine. But balance. Like you're flipping it.
I like both. I like having both.
Sure.
Like I like it explained. I like because like when you think about the Force and you're just like, well, but what? Like you always just want to know, but what is it? Like what is? Why can they do these things? Why? Just because of the Force? Just because of some blind belief? So it's like you want to know, and so I'm glad I know. But I also like the mystical aspect of it. Like I like to have a little bit of both.
The only thing with the 100 is that there like hasn't been any sort of like, I don't think they've ever dove into any sort of like religion in the 100 that is not like very clearly false gods, like the primes or any, you know what I mean? Like there hasn't been any of that.
Well, this
so
season,
to like bring it in the last
especially
quarter
is very ambitious. We're in a different galaxy with multiple planets now that we can travel to planets by touching a rock. Like we're in new territory.
Even that is like, it's ancient tech built by aliens. Like, and I get it. I'm like, cool. Like that's all I need is some sort of like little justification, you know? And I hope that they do that a little bit with the lights and with Bellamy's mom. That's all. And I think they will. They're not just going to leave that. I don't think they're going to just leave that and also leave the Jordan and the Shade Hada thing about like drinking and seeing it. And Maddie seeing it as well, of like drawing, like all those three.
But Maddie seeing it
are like going to connect.
Maddie seeing it is because she had the flame.
Yeah.
And so then
Shade Hada's probably seeing it as well because he had the flame.
Yeah.
Or not the flame, but the mind drive or whatever. I don't fucking know.
The key. The key.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. But Jordan saw it because he drank whatever the fuck that was. So like. I don't know. But I think all of those 3 arcs of people seeing shit is going to connect. But I don't know when.
I hope so.
But I think it's gonna happen. Let's see. Okay, so sidebars aside, let's go back to the episode. This is good talk though. Let's see. Where were we? Talking with Octavia, Clark,
Octavia
and Bellamy. Yeah, I liked all Bellamy going like, is it any crazier than people being trapped in a city of light? Shit. I did like that. And then Clark telling Bellamy to go float himself. I was like, hell yeah, I like it. We've already talked about that, so I'm just gonna skip that bit. Now we're going over to Nikki captured. Murphy gives her a little speech.
Yeah.
They take Clark away to MCAP, based on Bellamy's orders. But yeah, we go to Nikki. John gives her a little speech about what Hatch would have done, and I was like, oh, John, look at you, dude, you're killing it.
It was weird because I couldn't really understand. Like, I couldn't get what Nikki was feeling. Like, I don't know if...
Yeah.
Because I guess we just don't know that character enough. Like, I don't know if she was, like, nodding yes or no. I don't know why
she was wanting to get Maddie so badly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But when he was talking about Hatch, he was like, Hatch wouldn't want that Woody or something. Like, I didn't know if she was genuine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if she still had a plan or if she was still... Like, I still just don't really know about her. We don't get a lot from her in this season. We've only got her in short little chunks, and so I'm like...
I honestly thought we were going to get more of her and Nelson, which we did, but not, a ton. But yeah, that's true. I thought there were a couple of moments where he said something, and she did kind of like, in her head, kind of was like, fuck.
Yeah. She's like, oh, you're
there
right.
were a couple of those. Yeah, yeah. Then we go back to Clark being mind probed over there and just fucking screaming. She agrees to take Bill to the Flame only once all of her friends are safe. And he's like, all right, done. I'm like, oh, that's easy.
I have a question. Where is the Flame? Is the Flame destroyed?
It's dead, dude. I'm pretty sure it's straight up gone. Like
I thought they destroyed it.
Yeah.
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 I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure this is a trap.
But even if the show is wasting a lot of time, going to find the Flame. When I'm like, then they're gonna find out that it's destroyed, and then what? Then they're gonna have to. I don't know.
As Clark's leading him to a trap to fucking kill him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never know.
But she doesn't have that many friends that are not.
I don't know. She's playing the best she can. You know what I mean? This is the best play she had.
She's just really stretching it out.
Yeah, yeah. She's just doing her best in the moment. I'm looking it up, trying to find. The Flame was removed from Maddie after the Dark Commander's code was taken out. This is at the end of season 6. So let's see. The Flame itself appeared to have been destroyed in the process of saving Maddie. Whether this means the Flame is dead permanently, including the commanders who were on it, or if there is any way to revive them one day remains to be seen. So, does Shade Haida have the Flame? Is the knowledge from the Flame, did that then go to well, no, I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know
how this works. But the Flame itself, the mind drive that was in Maddie, was destroyed.
It was destroyed, but it wasn't crushed or anything.
Yeah.
Does Shade Haida?
Because Shade Haida was in Maddie's mind, they destroyed the Flame to try and save her.
He went through Wi-Fi. He went through Wi-Fi and went to Russell's mind drive. And that's the mind drive that we saw destroyed.
He
took it out. He took out the one from Russell and destroyed it so that Indra did that. Yeah. Indra did that because then she's like, if I kill you, then you'll be dead. You won't be able to.
Yeah. But he doesn't he have the knowledge from the Flame then? Maybe? If he came from Maddie's thing, went to the Wi-Fi in the air.
Yeeted himself.
Yeeted himself out into the air. maybe he took the knowledge of the code while he was in while he was in the flame, and now maybe he still has that somewhere in his brain. That's all I got. That's the closest I got. Yeah. God. Yeah, so we're going back to Shade Heda back in the palace. I actually did really like this moment. He walks by and just like cleaning up the blood on the ground. And then he looks down and he's like, let the others do that, Indra. And she says, you ordered Tree Crew to do it. I'm Tree Crew.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, well. But it was like genuinely a moment where he was kind of sad for her. He was like,
yeah,
you don't have to do that. Like, it's
because
like that it was that's below you. Like, I get that you're a leader. Like, I get that you submitted to me, but like, you don't have to fucking clean up the blood.
Yeah.
And I like that moment. That was a very like respect, you know.
He doesn't see her as like his equal, but like just below.
Yeah. And then a bunch of the dudes come in with a bunch of like the Ice Clan or whatever come in with carrying the fucking anomaly on like with a stick, like a giant wooden stick, like carrying it. And I'm like, holy shit. I literally was like, I didn't know you could move that. I didn't think that was possible.
I knew that they can move it, but I'm like, how long would that have to take? That would take a long time because it's pretty far away still.
Yeah.
Because like think of the whole all of Sanctum. Then it's like in the forest, like where Gabriel like is or was. Yeah. So it's like that's a long way to go.
But they moved it in. They placed it on like this center ring that I guess they had built on, and then it just immediately starts to like snap like all this metal. I'm like, fuck, dude. And then cut back over to Maddie. She's talking to the children of Gabriel, dude, trying to help, trying to be there for him, trying to be a good friend. It was nice. Yeah. Shade Heda comes into the workshop. Amori sees him there. Amori like wants to go up with John. He's like, no, stay here. Like, I'll go to handle this. And basically it was literally like, stay here so that if they get me, you're here and safe and they can't get you. And she's like, okay, fuck. But all right. They have a nice little hug, and then they go up. He goes up and tries to like play it off. Let's see. Amori calls like Shade Heda sees the door and tries to get John to open it, and then Amori like calls through, and she's like, "Hey, Cyclops." That was good. She's like, what did she say? She's like, if you hurt John, I will blow the reactor. If you try and come in here, I will blow the reactor. And one of the dudes is like, she's bluffing. And at first that was my thought too. It was like, oh, that's a big threat. And then John's like, well, no. Because like all the people in there
are dead
know that if that door opens, they're going to die. Yeah. So like, why would they care? I was like, yeah, that's fair.
He's like, in chess, that's what they call a stalemate. And I'm like, oh, bring it right back to chess.
I actually really did like that callback, to be honest. Yeah.
It was good. That's why I still think that like Murphy's going to find a way to kill Shade Heda. Their back and forth is just great.
So good. I want him to. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be great.
The hero of the show.
Oh my God, it was Murphy the whole time. Jesus. Let's see. They take John away and they go back to the palace pretty much. I think he leaves a couple dudes there to be like, he's like, wait them out when the door opens, like kill them.
I don't think they have they don't have food or anything really in there.
Yeah. Let's see. Then it goes back to Clark and her group. They're all, except for Clark, they're all lined up with restraints on, with helmets below them. And they start taking their restraints off and sending them through the portal one by one. And I really did like Echo's like, you're sending the fighters first, huh? And I got Doucette's like, you know.
I do like that they brought him back. I was like, thank God that they brought him back and it's not just some random person, because then it's like, I like this guy, even though he's kind of crazy. Still like him.
There was even a moment like with Bellamy earlier. But yeah, they took their restraints off and sent them all through except for Raven and Gabriel. And Raven's like, because we're the only ones that know how to work the stone, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, pretty much. Like, I'm being smart about this. He's like, I said before, Clark, I don't trust you. And I was like, that's fair. And yeah, then the episode ends.
He's like, I don't trust you, but I trust like the love you have for your friends. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
it's like
so
it
he
makes
also
sense.
did
Like
not send them to Sanctum, just so
they're
that's
like
clear. He sent them somewhere else.
the Bardoans are like the cult. They're thinking is almost like, I don't want to say it's like almost right or true, but it's like friendship is like a weakness. It's like, oh, it makes so much sense, but it's terrible.
Yeah,
But like if it was for all mankind, Clark would just be like, whatever to her friends.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The episode ends with it cuts back over to the palace. They're all chilling. Murphy and Shade Hater are playing chess.
Playing chess.
Playing chess, dude.
Also, Shade Hater's chair
Yeah.
made out of like skulls, and I'm like, man,
Yup.
somebody had some arts and crafts time. Like that might take a
Yeah.
long ass time.
Took some time, man.
But it's
they
a
got to
dope
work on it.
chair.
It's a pretty fucking dope chair. You're not wrong.
It's like it's a skeleton hand for the arms. I'm just like, man, this is dark. It's really dark.
pretty fucked up. Yeah, and then the portal opens because they brought in the anomaly stone, and like a bunch of disciples and Clark all come through, and everybody's like, "What the fuck?" Like even Shade, they're all so confused. And then Clark takes off her helmet, and she's like, "What the hell happened here?" and Murphy's like, "Gee, where to begin?" And I was like, "Shit, what a way to end the episode."
I wonder who has the upper hand in that situation.
I mean, probably still Shade Hater because
There's more of them.
Yeah, there's a lot, but the disciples can just peace out and go invisible.
But only some of them,
Not
not the ones
Clark.
in the white. Yeah, like because
Not
there
Clark.
was the ones in white, which was Clark. I'm guessing Bill.
Yeah,
what,
Bill
Echo
probably
and-
came.
Or not Echo. Raven
Raven
and
and Gabriel.
Gabriel, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know who all went through. I only know that Clark went through, but I'm sure Bill went and probably Raven and Gabriel too. But
Yeah.
yeah, probably the Grounders. I would.
So I
say.
wonder if what you
Since they're
think
not
is
all in
gonna
like, combat
happen,
gear.
that like Shade Hater has that knowledge of the code, the final code, and now that like Bill and Shade Hater are like
If he
in the
does,
same,
which we're not 100% if he does,
yeah,
that's just a theory.
But like now that Bill and Shade Hater are like literally in the same place,
what a weird fucking turn of events.
yeah. But like maybe that's how they have to get the final, like the last code. I don't know.
Well, okay, so what it really is a test, right? I'm more along Jordan's theory.
Yeah.
That you have to input the code and you have to be, I don't know, fucking worthy or some shit. This is Thor 1, right?
Yeah.
That's where we're at. That's what I think it actually is. I don't know. My theory really is that maybe Shade Hater has the code, but like other than that, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know where it goes from here, but I'm gonna be watching that trailer for next week.
I'm not watching.
I always do it. I always do it because they're literally 13 seconds long, so
Yeah.
it's like can't get much from those. But it gives you at least somewhat of an idea,
A little bit of a tease.
what it is. Yeah. Which is both good and bad because I don't think I did it for the Bellamy episode. So when that popped up, I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's like it's about Bellamy. But the only thing that I got somewhat spoiled from the trailer for this week was like I saw a shot of Jordan and Hope together. So I'm like, oh, they're going to have a scene together. That's cool.
Yeah.
So when it popped up, I was like, oh, shit. But yeah, that's the episode, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a good time. Went on some tangents. Tell us what you think about midichlorians. You know what I mean? Tell us what you think about the moment in Attack of the Clones when Yoda's like throws off his cloak and grabs his tiny little lightsaber.
That's the
Like, let's do it.
worst lightsaber
Rules.
battle.
It's spinning around.
But right before is like
us what
one
you
of
think about
not one of the best, but it's a good one when Anakin has
it's a
two
good
lightsabers. That was cool. I like that.
Yeah, good times. But yeah, you can let us know that on Twitter at Teddy Chinaris and on Twitch at the same thing and Instagram if you guys want to see more of like my new apartment and shit. I have like Instagram stories up and shit. So it's the thing.
You can find me at Tyson Pellegrini on Twitter, Pellegrini_17 on Instagram, and T Pellegrini on Twitch. I'm going to start trying to stream more, mostly on the weekends. I don't know if I'm going to stream tonight. Maybe tomorrow. I'm going to stream that Avengers beta a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't kill everything. And yeah.
Nice.
All that stuff.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, guys, we will see you next week. We only have 4 more episodes left.
That's it. 4.
My God. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I'm going to go get dinner. And, you guys have a great rest of your morning, night, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this,
Listen to it 24 hours a day.
Yeah. So we'll see y'all later. Bye.
All right. Peace.